you know, certain businesses, you know, it's like, okay, let's go for lunch, right? And it's a liquid lunch, right? And that then will can transpire or spiral into whatever. You know what I mean? You might go for a lunch and then your afternoon's now gone off because you've had a few beers, you've connected with this person. And you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, we can go to work tomorrow, we can come back to that tomorrow. Let's just carry on drinking. You know, and I think that's everyone's and every individual's choice, right? That they make. But yes, it is out there. To answer the question in a nutshell, it's heavily out there and it's heavily available, readily available. But then it all depends on whether you want to partake or not.
So here's one. I used to work in banking, for example, and the people who normally got the promotions are the ones who were hanging out with the bosses. And it's a Friday night. Come on, we're all going down to the pub. I'd sometimes go, but I always had a weekend job, so I wanted to come away from it. So because I wasn't associating, all of a sudden, Monday morning, everybody be vibing. Do you remember what happened Friday? Oh, we had a brilliant time. Oh, hi, Sean. Like, sort of thing. And it's just like, hey, I want to be part of that. I don't want to drink with you guys. So how do you sort of say no, but still sort of stay relevant, when you're in that sort of environment?
I think now it's because I've been in it for long enough. You know, I've been in it for 2 decades. So I've been there, done it. Spent my 20s and 30s doing it, you know, and now I've grown out of it. You know, I've just had enough. And I said, nah, I'm done. I'm good. You know, but don't get me wrong, it wasn't as easy as that. It was a struggle. You know, I've been trying to stop drinking from 2013. That's 11 years, right? So it was always in my head that, you know, I want to consciously make an effort to cut down or stop. And in 2013, I did on self-will, I stopped drinking completely and just knocked everything on the head. And then after that year, it was like, okay, I can do this. You know, I'm not that bad. I've got control. So then I went back out, right? And it wasn't like a thing that I was doing forever. I wasn't going to give up forever at that point. But that's where the actual seed got planted that, okay, you know what a great year you had not drinking. That's a vibe. But then I got back in it and I was in the midst of it again. And then you kind of like, you know, you just don't think about coming off or whatever, you know, things change and you're back in the party scene and you're back on the vibe and traveling and everywhere you go, it's like, Budgie, what do you want? And, you know, what can we get you? But now it's not like that, man. I made a conscious decision on October the 15th, 2021, that I will never drink again. And I admitted myself into AA. And that for me was my turning point because I'd done AA before for a year. And then I thought I'd cracked it and I thought, yeah, I can do this again. You know, I'm not that bad. I've got control.
And what is AA?
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
So
how does that work?
A lot of people, even myself, I didn't even know what it was until my friends recommended it to me and they said, bro, you need to chill out, man. Like you going hard, you know? And it's not a good look.
So how was you performing?
I never drank before I went on stage.
Right.
So I had some discipline.
Yes.
So my thing was that before I go on stage, I don't have a drop. But after, we party. And it could be that we don't even, no, it wasn't that it could be. There was a rule that we don't party at the venue where we're performing. We might have one drink just to be nice, just
loosen yourself
socialize,
up.
loosen up a bit, have a beer
Yeah.
with the promoter. Thank you, nice one. Have the beer and exit. Yeah. And that gives you that a little bit more star quality, a bit more respect. They think, guy came in, he smashed it, he left. And that gives you that, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I want to book this guy. Because if you come there and then you're like, you know, all over the shop and you're smashed and, you know, you're talking crap, people are going to look at you like, okay, I'm not, you know, you can leave a bad taste in people's minds. You know what I mean? And that can result in them not booking you again. And that's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
You know, if I upset my promoter, he's going to tell 3 other promoters. So the work starts slowing down. You know what I mean? So you got to stay on top, at least in that way, that you make sure that you're doing things but you're still working and you're still working smart. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. I just never took a drop of alcohol before I went on stage, but I did. I partied hard, you know, to the point where it was like almost like, you know, burning the candle at both ends, which is not always a good look, you know. But it's not like that.
A situation I was faced with when I was competing, I stayed off alcohol for a certain
Competing
period in men's physique.
Oh
Yes,
wow! Okay.
I did a bodybuilding back in 2019.
Oh, brilliant!
But that was just a challenge because I was always fat boy,
right?
And it was always I was fat boy until I stupidly had to get on stage in front of 700 people to perform this routine that took me like 3 years to like bulk up and then shred and stuff. So I started sort of doing this bodybuilding, and obviously there's a lot of calories in drink. And so I used to, in our Sikh community, we go around people's houses and the first thing they're saying, "Botal kholi," you know, what you having? But vodka, whiskey, what kind of guy you are? And all of a sudden when I'm like, I don't drink, everyone's like, huh? What do you mean you don't drink?
Yeah.
Come on, Kush Bila, you know, have something to drink. And I'm like, nah, seriously, I'm good. And then they'll ask you 10 times. And you're just like, I feel like giving in now. Oh, go on, just one. What's one? But you know,
it's never one.
If you bust the seal on one, and they've got the in as well, they go, now that's it, you've had one now, you might as well have more. There's a lot of family pressure as well.
Yes,
like,
there is,
and this sort of culture of you have to have a drink. If you don't drink, you're not fun. You're not part of us. Have I upset you? That's why you don't have a drink with me. You know.
That's when they've had a few. It gets to that stage then, doesn't it? Yeah. You don't like me, do you?
Yeah. What I'm saying is, how do you say no in a respectful way? How do we move away from that?
You know what? No, I mean, again, I think it comes down to age and stuff like that, and you know what you've been through and stuff. And because, like I said, I mean, I have drank with all my friends, all family, and you know, I've been the heart and soul of the party. And it comes a stage where when you say no, they have to respect that, and they respect it because they've had a drink with you before, and they've probably heard and seen what you've been through. You know, I've had as so many of you that are watching have probably had as well, many ups and downs in your life, right? We all go through them. And when people see that and then you tell them, no, I don't drink, they respect that, you know? And I think that's the stage I'm at right now. You might not be at that same stage. Somebody might, you know, be still pressurizing you to have a drink. But I mean, I guess you then just got to kind of disassociate with with them people for a while, just so that they can, you know, they realize that, you know what, you don't put yourself in those circles anymore because you're doing other things, and then they have a different level of respect for you. They won't even ask you. They won't, forget pressurizing you, they won't even ask you to have a drink because they know that, nah, you know, this guy, he's disciplined, man. And sometimes they want you to drink because they want to drink, you know, and they just want someone to drink with.
They want company,
you know. So yeah, man. I mean, you know, each to their own, man. Each to their own. I don't preach to anybody, even though I'm nearly 3 years sober. I don't say to anyone, oh, you shouldn't drink, and oh, you should be like me. I never do that, man, because you know everyone's on their own journey. You know what I mean? And if they're okay with drinking, then that's cool. You know, that's cool with me. But for me, I know if I go to places, they'll say, oh, what would you like to drink? Can I get you a mocktail? Can I get you a cocktail, a beer? And I was like, nah, I'm allergic to that stuff. You know, I make fun of it now. You know, because I'm comfortable with that. You know, and people that I sit with and my mates, my best mates, they all still drink. And we'll go out for a meal and we'll sit down and they'll order beer and I'll have a Diet Coke. You know, and we're cool. We still have a laugh. We still have fun. We still chat the same chat. You know, we still talk about the same things. There's no difference. And that's the real ones. Those are the ones you want to sit with that respect you for who you are and not for what you're putting down your mouth. You know what I mean?
Have you had to leave people behind?
No, I just had to change my surroundings. I didn't have to leave. I guess, you know what, I suppose I did. Certain people, you know, that were doing things that I no longer wanted to partake in, you know, and I was like, you know what, okay, I just can't be around those people. Or if I was with them, I'd be with them early on in the evening. But then when I can see that, okay, right now, it's got to a point where now things are going to escalate to a different stage, I know when to exit because I was part of that before, you know, so I can see it all happening and unfolding around me. And now I just, you know, vacate and I just leave. And that is just, you know, you just got to be more aware of your own surroundings. Don't worry about what's going on. And they're not going to miss it. You know, if you actually exit and after about 5 minutes, they'll be like, where's he gone? And that's it. Because